2000 Grand Cherokee. Customer states, I just bought it. They told me it needs a rear diff. I drove it. When you make a left-hand turn, you can feel something in this back corner rubbing. I'm guessing the outer bearings out of it and the calipers rubbing on the rotor. Maybe. Let's take it apart, have a look. New silicone on the diff cover. Fresh steel from cleaning the gasket surface. Somebody's just been in there. Well, the oil that came out looks brand new. Absolutely no stripper glitter in it. So I think our only culprits are the outer bearings. I'm going to take those 4 bolts out and then maybe make some sort of slide hammer attachment and pull the axle and the bearing out. People say it's not stupid if it works, but that looks pretty stupid. But it worked. Diff cover back on. Bolts are just finger tight. Let the silicone set up for 24 hours and then crank them down. I like to do that if I'm not in a rush. If you don't have a slide hammer, you can bolt your rotor on backwards and then beat on the rotor to get the axle out. Got the axle shaft and the vise. I'm going to drill a hole almost all the way through this and try to split it with a cold chisel. I got that to split and come off without leaving any marks on the axle. I got the bearing cut. Now I'm going to pull this off, put it back in the vise. When I split the inner bearing without damaging the axle, got that off. Now I just got to bring it somewhere and get the new pieces pressed on. Eat that one more time, not on camera, and then I'm done for tomorrow's Sunday, order parts Monday, work on Jeep Tuesday. Got the bearings pressed on the axles, got the e-brake shoes on, now put the axle in. New pads and rotors on this side. I had to bend this clip, it was rubbing on the rotor. Customer states, you just did my brakes and it's squeaking already. E-brake shoes on this side. I had to bolt it on temporarily because the axle's not in. Dust plate wanted to fall off. Tighten the diff cover bolts, added oil, finished the brakes on that. And tomorrow, since the welder's sitting right there, my extension cord's really short, that's as far as she goes, weld a little patch in the rocker panel. Jacked up, time to do the front brakes. Rotor is seized on there. Look at all the rust that fell off of it from me hammering on it. Got the wrong brake pads. Oh my god. Better compare this rotor to the one in the box over there, make sure it's right. Well, the rotors look to be the right size. Look to have the right back spacing. They just got me the wrong pads. Doesn't matter where you go, they usually give you the wrong parts at least once. How to check brake lights by yourself. That one's working, that one's out. It actually works really good with power seats. All the tail lights work. Passenger door does not want to open with the outside handle. My guess is people ripping the door open too hard, bend the rod that has a Z-bend in it. Maybe if I take it out, I put slightly more bend into it to shorten the rod, should work. If you don't know how to take the door panels off, sometimes it's just better to go on YouTube and watch someone else do it for 5 minutes before you break somebody's door panel. There's the rod out of the door. I'm going to bend this a little bit more that way, bend that a little bit more that way. It'll shorten it, should open just fine. Never mind, that actually made it worse. Instead of shorter, we got to unbend it, make it a little bit longer. That's better. Just put the door panel back on. I can see how 20 years of somebody's old lady just ripping on this door handle trying to open it, bend that rod. Got the door panel back on, good to go. Now onto the rocker panel since I'm waiting for brakes. Well, that spray foam in there is probably why it rotted out. I don't know why they put spray foam in brand new cars in the factory. Let's hit that with the flap wheel and see where we're at. I like Dodges, but like, really, whose idea was it at the factory? Like, let's fill this rocker full of spray foam so it rots out. Or in the Dodge pickups, you shove a bag of insulation in the cab corner so it rubs out. Like, really, what were they thinking? Didn't look too bad till I got the flap wheel out. Nothing left. Oh, look at all the spray foam that came out of there. Well, I got my craft supplies out. Time to use my CAD, my cardboard assisted design. I mean, if Dodge thought it was okay to use spray foam, I could just paper mache that cardboard in there. And transfer cardboard template to steel. There's not really a whole lot of my fender left. Patch almost all the way completely out. Just leave a little tiny pieces on the end, and then take a cut-off wheel. Clean up the outside, and then you can cut it the rest of the way out. Ready to weld in. You didn't even put your fingers in harm's way. And you can bring your patch over to the English wheel, or bring it over to your sandbag, or lay it in the grass and start making a shape. Gonna unhook the battery on the vehicle and plug in the welder, tack that in, and then I can shape this backside a little bit better. It's better if you line up the top first where you can see it. And if the bottom side overhangs a little bit, or if it's not perfect, you're not going to see it unless you're under it. Got an okay shape, just laying it in the grass and beating out the body hammer. Doesn't look too bad. Got the patch welded in. I'm going to grind it and tack around it one more time. Well, if I got to mix up some Bondo for that, I might as well get my door bottom ready for the next coat. Coat of fiberglass on the Jeep rocker. Second coat fiberglass on my door bottom. Got little helpers. Well, I guess I'm going to take apart this side, clean the caliper bracket, push the caliper in, have it ready for tomorrow when I have brake pads. Got the fiberglass sanded, first coat Bondo on the Jeep rockers. Sanded fiberglass on my door, Bondo, sanded up there, another coat of Bondo. Spray foam on the ground looks awfully suspicious, like I sprayed spray foam in there and carved her down and put fiberglass on it. No more holes in the rocker panel. Front brakes are on, front diff oil is checked, topped up, transfer case is topped up, rear end is still full. I took the back apart real quick. I gotta adjust the e-brake shoes. They're a little bit out of adjustment, and then we'll be good to go.